Hi, I'm Chris.
I'm Twyla.
I'm Ella. I'm Soleil. I'm Awake.
And we're the McDougall family. Our daughter Ella has cystic fibrosis, a genetic disease characterized mainly by sticky mucus in the lungs and trouble with the digestive system. It is a terminal illness, and so in her lifetime, she's 10 years old, and in her lifetime she's been hospitalized 7 times. And she does about 3 to 4 hours of treatments a day and has to take a number of pills a day, probably close to somewhere between 30 and 40 pills a day.
With my friends, like when I tell them that, they're like, whoa, you take 30 pills a day? And I'm like, it's not as bad as you think, but it's still pretty hard.
So over the last few years, there's been a couple of breakthrough medications that have happened. Well, there's a new drug that just came out in this past year that is a game changer. In fact, we're hopeful that the result of this drug is it takes us from being a fatal genetic disease to a chronic condition. It was actually last year that Trikafta was finally given the official release, and instead of it taking a long time for the FDA to be approving it, it got fast-tracked. It took 3 months. That's unheard of. In the United States, people a month later were being able to get that drug. There's now 20-some countries around the world that have been able to get access to it.
Trikafta is the next best thing to a cure for 90% of people with cystic fibrosis, and developed countries all over the world have it and are paying for it or are fast-tracking it because they've sat down and negotiated bulk pricing. They've been able to negotiate a deal and do it very effectively. Canada's bureaucratic system, it's very challenging, and it's blocking this medicine from coming to Canada. Going through this experience has given us visibility into how people with rare diseases in general are being left behind by Canada's healthcare system.
We were starting to feel really, really hopeless because the company was like, we've had such a tough time dealing with your nation. In fact, the rules that you guys are making is making it tougher and tougher for us to bring it there. So for them to invest all of that time, that money, that energy to bring this drug in, it seemed pointless to them. I think most people in this COVID situation can relate to us a little bit, where you feel like other people's decisions maybe are having such a crazy impact on your family, and you feel like you're not in control of your own life. Well, that's how it kind of felt for us. It was like, how is it that there's something that could remarkably impact my daughter's life that she just can't have? That just was maddening. This last year, it was getting frustrating because it looked like nothing was changing. Nothing at all. So we were advocating for those changes to be made in the process. We were so thankful. We had thousands of people that were joining us in sending emails, in letters, phone calls. We had so much support from our church community here. It was overwhelming. We're just so thankful for that. And we got so much accomplished with it. It's not perfect, but we made some pretty important changes. So much that there were changes that were made to the policy. We'd like to see more changes, but it's something. And that has everything to do with why Trikafta, the company Vertex, actually made it known that they are in the process of applying to have it here in Canada.
The commitment from the manufacturer to apply to Health Canada is a major milestone. There were a lot of bureaucratic challenges, so that commitment, the commitment from Health Canada and from our federal health minister to fast track it, are both, like, all of those are major milestones. Again, they're still not the end goal. There is a very effective advocacy team that has come together to try and advocate for this medicine to come to Canada. And earlier this year, the plan was to send a number of advocates to Ottawa to meet with key members of Parliament, and I was going to go and represent Saskatchewan. Of course, with COVID, that trip got cancelled. But there was a major silver lining in that cloud because basically everything went virtual. We were able to involve a lot more people, and we met with over 99% of members of Parliament across all political parties, and we were able to keep the momentum going.
Even Ella was able to meet with Andrew Scheer and a few other politicians. It was pretty cool.
We were able to really draw a lot of attention to this issue because of everything going virtual. I don't think my trip to Ottawa would have been anywhere close to as effective as this. Yeah, we still have prayer requests, obviously, around Trikafta. We are extremely hopeful and extremely excited, but it is also cautious optimism. These are milestones, major milestones. They're not the end goal. So there's still no guarantee that Trikafta will come to Canada yet. Certainly, and then there's also no guarantee of timeline. And there are people across Canada who need this medicine right now. And so it's so there's certainly prayer for this momentum to continue forward. We're looking for prayer as well for Ella. She recently was diagnosed with scoliosis as well, and so she needs to wear a brace for 18 hours a day on top of this. So prayers in that regard.
So we're really, really hopeful what we're going to see in the next year.